Good morning.
Good morning.
Another magnificent day, but today it's a little cooler, which is very nice. But yesterday the sunshine was wonderful. So yesterday, if you exercised, it had to be early morning or late afternoon, isn't that right? But today it's a little bit nicer. In our next lecture we're going to look at exercise, but what I want to look at right now is water. What type of water should we be drinking, and when should we be drinking it, and why should we be drinking water? A man said to me, "Everyone tells me to drink water, you told me why." So let me tell you why. So let's have a look at water loss in a day. So from the kidneys, now please bear with me here because I'm an Australian, so I'm going to say litre, but I think you realise in the US a quart is the same as the litre. So from the kidneys, we have 1.5 litre loss in a day. From the colon, we have 0.3 of a litre loss in the day. From the lungs, we have a 0.2 of a litre loss. And what's a surprise to most is from the skin, we have a 0.5 of a litre loss. So that's 2.5 litre loss, so litre loss in a 24-hour period. We need to be replacing 2 litres or 2 quarts of water. Well, what about the other? Well, in our magnificent breakfast this morning, we had water coming in through our mango, through our grapefruit, so you see your fruits and vegetables also supply some fluid, but we need to have at least 2 litres of pure water a day. So here's the rule of thumb. So 50 pound body weight to 1, well, I'll say quart for your sake, for 1 quart or 1 litre. So that means if someone is 100 pound, they should be having 2 quarts a day. And I guess someone gets very concerned if they're 200 pound. Does that mean I've got to drink 3 quarts a day? Well, that's a good incentive for weight loss. And if someone's only drinking 2 glasses of water a day and they're 200 pound, they can get very discouraged at that news. So you know what I say, Rome wasn't built in a day. You just start little by little by little to drink more. But it's a good rule of thumb for children because children need water. And you watch, a child gets up in the morning, runs around and plays for a while, sit down for breakfast. What's the first thing they want to do straight after breakfast? Water. Because they sat to eat dehydrated. Same with the adults. How many adults get up in the morning, first thing they have is, say, orange juice and a cup of coffee. Isn't that the traditional breakfast fluids? And what are they doing when they have their orange juice and their cup of coffee? They're thirsty, they're trying to hydrate, but neither will hydrate them. How clean would your body be if you washed it in orange juice? How clean would your body be if you washed it in a cup of coffee? Water and water alone will supply what the body needs. And there's a book called One of the Body's Many Cries for Water. It's by Dr. Batman Geheldage. We'll call him Dr. B, an Iranian doctor. And his story is very interesting. He was in prison, political prisoner, and all the patients, not patients, but the residents in the jail would come to him because he's the doctor. And he had nothing. So he just kept giving everyone a glass of water. And, they were happy because he actually did something. And every 15 minutes, he'd give them another glass of water. And so he'd come and see them, give them another glass of water. And to him, it was a bit of, what else can I do? But then he noticed something. They all were getting better. In fact, the word went round, we've got the best doctor here in this jail. Everyone's getting better. So he put his detective hat on. Why are they getting better? All I'm doing is giving them water. And out of that came his book, One of the Body's Many Cries for Water. And what's fascinating about his book, I'm pretty sure it's in the bookshelf there, is he goes into every single body function, because don't you love it when someone says, why is this happening? And then investigate and then write a book, and we can read that book and go, well, looky there. No need to reinvent the wheel. This guy's done it all. And what he found was the first place that water is lost is the stomach. Because lining our stomach, we have a thick mucosa lining, and in that thick mucosa lining is sodium bicarbonate. And that sodium bicarbonate is in the stomach lining, so that if any stomach acid tries to go through, it's immediately negated or neutralised, so that the hydrochloric acid doesn't eat out our stomach. But one of the first places that water is taken from in dehydration is the lining of the stomach. And so when someone is dehydrated, they can have a very thin stomach lining. And when there's a very thin stomach lining, there's no sodium bicarbonate in there. And so the stomach acid can easily start to eat its way through. And then because there's damage, our body's own microorganisms change roles and become the clean-up team. Remember Monday, where we looked at the cycle of life? And they change roles and become the clean-up team. Remember what its name is? Bacteria. And they've given them a name in the stomach. It's called Helicobacter. You've heard of it? Yes. Helicobacter pylori. Helicobacter pylori is blamed for stomach ulcers. Students, what's the cause of stomach ulcers? Well, the number one, it's actually dehydration. And Dr. B claimed that at the writing of his book to have cured 3,000 cases of stomach ulcer with water alone. Because the first place that the water is taken from is the lining of the stomach. And the first place it goes to is the lining of the stomach. So a glass of water, half an hour before the meal, the first thing it'll do is it'll thicken that mucosa lining on the stomach. So there's a couple of doctors from Australia, Western Australia, that got a Nobel Prize for discovering that Helicobacter pylori causes stomach ulcers. They were even putting Helicobacter pylori into someone's stomach and, yeah, stomach ulcer. But you know what my question is? Well, were they dehydrated? How much water were they drinking? Are they coffee drinkers? We had a pathologist attend our program. He said, we did studies on coffee and we found it took 5 glasses of water to make up for the dehydrating agents in 1 cup of coffee. Now, when you look at that, I think you'd agree with me, the nation's dehydrated. And Dr. B's book, One of the Body's Many Cries for Water, it actually explains why all of these ailments are happening. The other title to his book is, he's not sick, he's thirsty. The other title to his book is, subtitle, Don't Treat Thirst with Medications. Because when you do take medications, what does that do to your hydration status? Lessens it even more. I know as a psychiatric nurse, you'd be talking to the patients and you can tell their mouth is dry by the way they're talking. So what do? Oh, Coke, coffee. Is that helping? Not at all. In fact, it's contributing to the fact that they're still in the psychiatric hospital, because our brain is 85% water. From the neck down, we're 75% water. Our brain is a hydroelectric system. No hydro, no electricity. A person can actually develop negative thought patterns in a dehydrated brain. And most people know that their headache possibly is due to dehydration. My husband rang me one day, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He was driving. He said, I don't know what's the matter with me. I've got a migraine. I can hardly drive. So you know what my first question always is? How much water have you drank? And he went, oh dear. He said, I haven't drank any water since I woke up this morning. So he woke up in the morning and had water. He had breakfast. Must have got busy, had lunch, and now we are 3 in the afternoon. He is chronically dehydrated. So I said to him, please don't drink a whole glass of water. Please just have half a glass of water. A few minutes later, another half glass of water. A few minutes later, let it little by little by little go in. He said after the first glass, the migraine went to a headache, and after the second glass, the headache went to a dull ache, and after the third glass, he had no headache. Now, isn't it nice if you can resolve every headache just with water? But unfortunately, not every headache is just due to dehydration. But I like to use the process of elimination. Let's try water first. And Dr. Batman Geheldage in that jail was finding all these problems resolving just because he was giving water. In fact, when the politics changed and he was finally released, he said, look, do you mind if I stay? They've never had anyone say that before. He said, I'm right in the middle of this very interesting research. And he's presented at in medical journals, he's presented at medical conferences, and out of all of those talks he gave, he's written the book, One of the Body's Many Cries for Water. But it's not a popular message, is it? You can't